A very good evening to you all and welcome to English News Bulletin here in Rwanda Television. We are glad you could join us. Let us begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame emphasized the importance of multilateral engagement as key driver of development for both Rwanda and Latvia. The World Bank assured continued partnership with the government of Rwanda through various developmental joint initiatives. My name is Olive Netendi. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Now, kicking off this edition, President Paul Kagame emphasized the importance of multilateral engagement as a key driver of development for both Rwanda and Latvia. Adam Squizera kicks us off tonight.
On Wednesday morning in Latvia's capital Riga, President Paul Kagame was received by President Edgar Rinkevich at the Riga Castle, where they held a tete-a-tete discussions before being joined by members of both delegations for bilateral discussions. At a joint press conference, President Paul Kagame reiterated on his discussions with Rinkevich, as well as between the two countries' delegations, showed that Rwanda and Latvia share strong bonds of friendship.
Following my discussion with the President and between our delegations, it is evident that Rwanda and Latvia share strong bonds of friendship. We were deeply moved by our visit yesterday to the Museum of the Occupation of Latvia. This exhibit holds a universal message about the protection of rights and freedom. The purpose of this visit is to explore new opportunities for the mutual benefit of our people. There's already a growing interest in the field of sustainable agriculture.
President Edgar Rinkevich noted that this visit will further strengthen the relationship between Rwanda and Latvia, as this first visit of President Paul Kagame to Latvia, which makes it a historical visit.
This is the first official visit of not only a Rwandan president to the Republic of Latvia, but also the first official visit of a leader of a Republican of an African country to Latvia after restoration of our independence. So this is a historic visit, therefore. This visit also coincides with quite a turbulent period. In our history, we discussed regional security of Europe.
During press conference, President Kagame's visit to Latvia was highlighted as an important step in fostering stable and long-term relations between the two countries. Both nations expressed their commitment to strengthen cooperation on various fronts. President Kagame emphasized the importance of multilateral engagement as a key driver of development for both Rwanda and Latvia.
We also need to prioritize growth areas such as information technology. Mr. President, I commend your efforts to build a strong innovation ecosystem in Latvia, an example for all of us to follow. In Rwanda, we have also been doing our part, beginning with digitizing almost all public services. On the multilateral front, Rwanda and Latvia are willing to support each other on a range of issues, notably peace and security and global development. Ultimately, the mindset we have is to work together to find solutions to our unique set of challenges.
President Edgar Rinkevich commended Rwanda's pivotal role in restoring peace and security on the African continent.
We highly appreciate Rwanda's involvement or contribution to several peacekeeping operations, and we, of course, also talked about the necessity to reform the UN, namely the Security Council. It has become apparent that UN does not really reflect the situation that we are living in the 21st century and cannot efficiently resolve conflicts. We also discussed bilateral cooperation as well. What we can see at the moment already is that there's a good potential for economic cooperation. Our IT companies in particular and other companies are quite active on the Rwandan market. However, we can deepen this cooperation still, and we have created a good and efficient for further deepening of the bilateral economic and political dialogue and cooperation. Last but not least,
President Paul Kagame and President Edgar Rinkevich also laid wreaths at the Freedom Monument in honor of those who lost their lives in Latvia's struggle for independence between 1918 to 1920. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, on the details, but still speaking on the official visit this afternoon in Riga, President Kagame met with Deigami Erina, Speaker of Parliament, and Prime Minister Vika Silina before giving remarks at the unveiling of the commemorative plaque for victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and President Kagame commended Latvia for standing in solidarity with Rwanda.
Yeah. For standing in solidarity with Rwanda and for honoring the innocent lives that were taken.
Man ir ļoti liels gods piedalīties 1994. gadā Rwandā pret Tutsi īstenotā genocīda upuru piemiņai veltītās plāksnes atklāšanā. Gribētu pateikties Latvijas valdībai un visai Latvijas tautai par izrādīto solidaritāti Rwandai un par pievienošanos šajā atceres pasākumā, kurā mēs pieminam nevainīgi bojā gājušos.
We do not take this moment for granted. 30 years after the genocide was stopped, Rwandans have regained our dignity and unity as a people. The tragedy we suffered has only made us more determined to do the hard work of becoming strong and prosperous.
Taču, lai nonāktu līdz šim brīdim, ir bijis jāmēro ļoti garš ceļš. Ir bijuši nepieciešami veseli 30 gadi pēc šī genocīda pārtraukšanas, lai Rwandas tauta un sabiedrība spētu dziedēt sevi un stiprināt savu vienotību. Šī traģēdija, ko mēs piedzīvojām kā tauta, kā valsts, ir tikai stiprinājusi mūsu apņēmību turpināt, visiem spēkiem strādāt pie tā, lai stiprinātu mūsu valsti un tās labklājību.
In that sense, I believe that Latvians and Rwandans can understand each other at a deep level.
To more news, the World Bank assured continued partnership with the government of Rwanda through various developmental joint initiatives. This is as on Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente met with Kiamo Fan, World Bank Country Director for Rwanda, Kenya, Somalia and Uganda. Prince Manzi with the details.
Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente and Kiamo Fan discussed various partnership in the next 5 years, most importantly on job creation for young people as elaborated by the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Yusuf Murangwa.
It's been a month since the World Bank appointed a new country director for the region, taking care of 4 countries, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya and Somalia. So he visited us on Monday, and yesterday we had a very good meeting at the Ministry of Finance, where we discussed the next 5-year government program, NST2, where we committed to work together in a collaborative way. And today on schedule, he was supposed to meet the Right Honourable Prime Minister, so that first of all they can know each other, but also so that he can hear from the Prime Minister what the expectations of the government are in collaboration with the World Bank in the next 5 years. So they discussed very important issues. One of them is They discussed job creation, especially for young people, and also promoting agricultural productivity, and also education, strengthening education systems in Rwanda.
Kimiao Fund demonstrates that Rwanda has made a remarkable progress for the last few decades and shows World Bank's commitment to support Rwanda's ambitions towards the development of its citizens.
We at the World Bank were very proud to have been a long-standing partner in Rwanda's development journey. The Prime Minister and I discussed the country's development priorities, the World Bank support program to Rwanda, in particular our support to the country's recently approved National Strategy for Transformation. I've reaffirmed to the Prime Minister our commitment to support Rwanda in its effort for a green, resilient and inclusive development that can create more better and more inclusive jobs that can benefit all Rwandans.
Rwanda and the World Bank partnered into various developmental projects, including the impactful 22,000 classrooms construction realized in 2020.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Now, still on matters regarding health. Since the Marburg virus outbreak was declared on September 27th, the country has implemented several measures to contain the spread and protect the population in light of the rising concerns. Today, we are honored to be joined by the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin. Welcome to the studio to clear more on the concerns that people have. As we said, it's been almost a week since the Marburg virus was detected in Rwanda, and there are effective measures that has been put in place to ensure that people stay safe. How effective are these measures being giving results, or is it so soon to say that it is giving results?
Great. Thank you very much. As you actually said, it's almost a week since we first detected this virus, Marburg, in Rwanda, which triggered a response system to detect more cases which were found. As of today, we've confirmed about 29 positive cases. We expect this to increase as we actively find more, and it's very normal with the evolution of the disease. The very first days you may detect more until we reach a plateau, and then you start to bring it down. Unfortunately, this is a disease associated with a high mortality rate. We've lost 10 lives, and probably even we're trying to minimize and getting to save all lives that we can save. So today, to say that where are we heading, how are we going to end this, probably too early, but we have hope that with the means and mechanism put in place, with the government and partners and community also contributing to making sure we don't have more contacts, wash hands, we detect these symptoms, high fever, severe headache and muscle pain. These are typical symptoms. We may reach very soon a level where we say Marburg is going to an end, but these are results that we have to invest in right now, working together. But it's possible, and we're going to achieve that, but we must really be together this critical phase to make sure we detect every single suspect or case that might be somewhere. So I would say that we've made progress, and at least we've reached out to all contacts, and those who are seeing positive these days are those who were exposed by the time we detect it, and we're trying to run faster ahead of the virus, and soon we may reach that time you're asking.
Yes. Moving ahead, we've noticed institutions taking other preventive measures. There are preventive measures put in place by the Ministry of Health, but other institutions are also putting preventive measures to curb the spread of this virus. How do we balance these strict measures that are being put in place with the message that you recently gave, telling people, urging people not to panic in moments such as this?
So containing this virus is all about avoiding close contacts. And avoiding close contacts are necessary at this particular time, but we don't want to also create panic, which means schools are not closed, movements are not actually prohibited. We keep doing business as usual, but with caution. In schools, in places where people gather in big numbers, we need to have that extra caution, but without disturbing the process. And this is a limited period of time as we try to maximize our detection of any suspect case or any indicative based on symptoms. So the guidelines on schools, guidelines on other mass gathering, people being together, it's all about trying to minimize these close contacts. But we are not at the level to say don't go to the market or don't go to school, because we can use the means we have and the progress we've made to contain this outbreak very soon. But it will depend on everyone's contribution. As I said before, we've done it with other outbreaks, community contribution, scientific contribution, but also leadership and communication are the three pillars that we have to put together to reach to a place where Marburg has been contained fully.
Yes, there are so many information about this virus, but we would like to know who is more at risk of being infected with the Marburg virus. Is it adults, is it children, or everyone is at risk? And additionally, how is the ministry positioned to curb the spread of the virus?
So thank you. Those are very important questions. Of course, everyone is at risk if you get to the contact with the virus. But people have to understand that the virus is not airborne. It's not a virus that will come to you from someone who doesn't show symptoms. And the virus will not come to you if you touch surfaces or you close contact with someone and wash hands and use sanitizer. This are proven to work and to kill the virus in case you've been in contact with it. But it's very important to mention that it's a virus of close contact, and that's why healthcare providers have been affected, because they are in some procedures they sometimes find themselves in contact with patients who are actually having all these symptoms, these body fluids, blood, and that is the most at-risk group. Even in other countries, in other outbreaks, healthcare providers were the most affected. Unfortunately, is the case also for us, and that is what we're doing to make sure we protect them, but also we protect the community, because the virus can also come from those who are infected and spread. And we don't want to go at that level. That's why we're trying to implement different types of measures in this particular first week of detection.
Yeah, emphasizing on what you just said about healthcare providers being more at risk because they attend to these patients. You said it that most of the people that died from this virus are healthcare professionals. What is being done to protect them? Still, they're at the forefront. They are taking care of these patients and they are receiving patients on a daily basis. But what is the ministry or the country doing to make sure that they are protected, but also they can still give the services that they give on a daily basis?
Absolutely, that's very important. Infection prevention control have been taken to another level. I mean, it's a virus that can easily evade some level of protection, but once you practice the hand washing and sanitizing and protection that are available in facilities. So the government have been providing these protective equipments. With this situation, we even have more, another layer of protection. But the most important protection comes from also personal compliance and decisions, not only for healthcare providers, but also for any other person. We have to go back to our practice of hygiene, hand washing, avoiding unnecessary contacts that may lead to picking a virus without even knowing. For them, it's hard to not face people with symptoms because that is the risk of their job. But also there is another layer of protection and understanding that it's not like other exposure. There is a very severe virus that they are facing, but it's not out of control. Unfortunately, it has taken lives, and we regret that happened, but we have to make sure that doesn't go and take more lives if we can stop it right now.
Honourable Minister, before we end our insightful discussion, what message would you provide to Rwandans in this fight against this Marburg virus?
Thank you. I have two things to say. One, if you see or you have high fever, severe headache and muscle pain and high fatigue, please don't take it simple. It might not be fatigue, might not be malaria. It could be something like Marburg. Give us that opportunity to pick the virus early and to follow up, treat you, and also prevent the spread. Second, hand washing, sanitizing, avoiding contacts is very important at this critical time. And very soon we will win, but we need your contribution to this battle.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for sharing these important updates. And as the situation continues to develop, we encourage everyone to remain vigilant and informed about the preventive measures put in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving ahead, despite the termination of the UK-Rwanda migration partnership, this did not significantly affect the broader relationship between the two countries, as reiterated by Alison Thorpe, the new British High Commissioner to Rwanda, earlier today. Adam Squizera with more.
This was reiterated in a press conference that focused on various matters, including the bilateral relations between the United Kingdom and Rwanda, and other sectors including health, education, trade and investment. The High Commissioner Thorpe reiterated that despite the termination of the UK-Rwanda migration partnership, it didn't significantly affect the broader relationship between the two countries. She emphasized that the UK and Rwanda continue to maintain strong diplomatic, economic and developmental ties.
You're right to say that the new government in the UK has taken a different approach to managing illegal migration, and they have ended the migration partnership with Rwanda. But that absolutely doesn't mean that they've ended the relationship with Rwanda. In fact, the relationship has always been far broader than just migration. The new government is very keen to continue a strong relationship with Rwanda, and I think that was evidenced by, in my second week here, Lord Collins, who's our Minister for Africa, prioritised coming to Rwanda early on, because he wanted to send that very clear message to the government that we are absolutely committed, not just to the strong relationship we already have, but to making it and building it stronger over the years to come.
The United Kingdom supports the Rwanda and Nairobi peace process aimed at helping the end of violence in the Eastern DRC, as reiterated by Alison Thorpe, the new British High Commissioner to Rwanda.
This whole region will benefit from peace and security. If we could have peace and security and stability, interregional trade, this region could absolutely be the engine of growth for the whole continent. And for that reason, the UK really supports the regional peace processes that are ongoing, the efforts of President Lorenzo and the Rwanda process, the Nairobi process, if that is indeed revitalised, and we're ready to support in whatever way we can.
High Commissioner Alison Thorpe promised Rwanda full support from the UK in combating the recent Marburg virus outbreak. She assured that the UK stands ready to assist Rwanda in any way necessary, including through medical resources, expertise and collaborative efforts to prevent the spread of the virus and manage its impact on the public health. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam. So the details now, an exhibition is currently underway at the Nyanza Kicukiro Genocide Memorial, highlighting the evidence that exists for the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, divided into 10 sections. The exhibition shows evidence documented in 150 volumes of how the atrocities were prepared and implemented, culminating in the darkest period in the country's history and the fastest genocide in the recorded human history.
for me it's quite important because this is a product, this is a result of the reconciliation between France and Rwanda. As you know, unfortunately, France has a strong responsibility, a deep responsibility in what happened, and France, unfortunately, supported blindly Habyarimana's regime, and because of this military support, the regime didn't collapse just after the attack of the RPF, but it took more than 3 years and a half. And during the 3 years and a half, Habyarimana's regime and the MRND and so on, and they had the capacity, the ability to establish the interim way, to establish all the militias, and there were some killings already in October 90, also the Bagogwe in February and March 91, then in Bugesera in February and March 92, and other killings. And unfortunately, at the same time, there was this massive killings. France was supporting Habyarimana's regime. And then when, you know, most of the French military left in December 1993, you had the UN who came, but unfortunately the MINUSMA was totally ineffective. And then after the attack, you know, against Habyarimana's aircraft, but it was just a pretext, I would say, you know. All the structure was there to kill 1 million people within 100 days, you know, which needs a very big preparation, which needs a big bureaucracy, which needs also, you know, to brainwash the brain of the local people, and that's what Radio Milcolin did. And I think this exhibition gives a clear explanation, you know, of what happened. So that's why I think it's necessary for the Rwandan people to see it, especially for the young people, because Rwanda is a very young country with a very young population. I think almost 2/3 of the population are below 35, and so these people, except a few, but they were young or they were not born when the genocide against the Tutsi took place, but they have to know what is their history, you know, so that it doesn't repeat it again. You know, I often say that the basics, if you like, for the reconciliation between France and Rwanda, and this is history, memory, and justice. Which means, you know, we have a good cooperation in the field of economy, of commerce, of education, and so on. But this is based on this trilogy, you know, history, memory, justice. So this is about history. So this is the way, because unfortunately, because this is a tragic history, but France and Rwanda share, you know, a common history, which is the history of the years before the genocide and during the genocide. So that's why this exhibition is important and crucial, of course, for Rwandan people, but also for French people.
What was happening in Rwanda in the years and even decades before the genocide against the Tutsi actually began was not a secret, even though many around the world pretended not to know, which is why exhibitions like this are important in making the truth of that period known.
I have been interested in Rwandan history for more than 30 years, because I started my career in Uganda, in Kampala, in '87. I spent 4 years there. I was in Kampala on the 1st of October 1990, so I had a strong interest, you know, in the regional issues, and I knew I had some information about what's going on in Rwanda, you know. So I must say, of course, I am sure that if I go through the exhibition, I will learn a lot. But I must say that probably my level, you know, of knowledge about Rwandan history is above the average, you know. But I think for the common Wananchi, as you say in Kiswahili, for the common Rwandan citizen or the common French citizen, even more, you know, this exhibition will teach a lot, you know, because you have, it's very pedagogic, you know, it's very clear. You understand why something unthinkable eventually did happen. You can understand the responsibilities of the Rwandan people, of course, of the Rwandan leadership of that time, but also of France, of the French government of that time, and also of the international community. So that's what makes this exhibition important. And also, but I had no time, you know, to go through all the, I will come back through all the panels, but I can think that there that I didn't see before, you know. Because of course I visited Gisozi, Nyamata, Murambi, and I visited many places. So there are some documents which are here, that I saw especially in Gisozi, but there are also some documents, some papers, some files, some archives, which are here that you cannot see in Gisozi, I think.
For 3 weeks, the first of its kind to be held in Rwanda, though a similar one was held in France earlier this year. On behalf of the technical and news production team, thank you for being with us tonight and have a productive week ahead.